Hey friends, I'm Henry with BrainStorm Acres, and our plans really got dumped on his head. I'll explain as we walk out to the air conditioner. We've had a change in the weather forecast. Not for the better as far as I'm concerned. We were going to have temperatures around 100 degrees. But recently, as in just at lunchtime, Irene and I went inside and had a little bite. The weather forecast has changed and we're heading for 103 degrees by their forecast, which means we're going to probably see 105, 106, maybe 107 degrees. And it's coming earlier. So I need to bump yet another thing up the list. So I'm going out to double check the air conditioning unit that's outside in preparation to run it. Our air conditioning external unit for the split air conditioning is on the east side of the house. I'm inspecting the unit to see if there's any external damage. I don't see anything so far. Now I need to remove this panel to inspect the electrical connections to make sure no squirrels, rats, mice, or anything else like that have gotten inside. This is an every year occurrence.
Hey everybody, it's Irene with BrainStorm Acres, and this morning I am going to go do something that a lot of people who are doing solar don't think about. I'm going to go clean our panels. Now, some places it rains on a regular basis, but you still need to be paying attention to how clean your panels are. And well, this morning I looked at our panels and that's what I saw. Now, that may not seem like a lot, but that is reducing the amount of electricity that we are getting from these panels, and that is a bad thing. So I have to see if I could find our brush. We used to have a really nice dust brush that's used actually for RVs, but it seems to have disappeared, so I may just need to go get the other one that's used for scrubbing, and if necessary I'll just use that, and I'll even get water if I have to, because these need to get cleaned. These are dirty. That's a bad thing. Now, people don't think about it, but even a little bit of a film of dust like this can make a dramatic amount of difference in how much solar you're absorbing. And the whole point of having solar is to absorb as much as you can. Now, we use these brushes in the wintertime when we're clearing snow. Let's see how well this will work. And it's very funny sometimes when you're talking to people. It does take some off. I am not pleased with how little it takes off though. Okay, water. It wasn't that long ago, just a couple of months ago, I was talking to somebody and they're like, oh, we're going to put up our solar panels on the roof. We've got just the right exposure and everything else. And I said, oh, cool. That will be nice not to have to look at them on the ground and all that kind of stuff. How are you going to clean the snow off? And there was dead silence. They had never thought about that. Oh, well, I guess I need to come up with a different solution. Why, yes, you do. The fact is that when there's snow on your panels, you don't get the kind of solar that you'd like to have. In fact, sometimes you get virtually none. So that's a bad thing. So I'm going to see how good a job this is going to do. And you have to consider how you're going to get to all parts of your solar panel. You know, if it doesn't matter to you, if it's just a hobby, or just sort of a extra thing that you're doing. That's cool, I guess. But, you know, having to get up on your roof to clean your solar panels, and your panels should be cleaned. Geez, it depends on where you are, but normally we clean ours every couple of weeks. And I just happened to notice this morning the light was shining on it just right, and I went, whoa, that's dirty. We need to clean that. Because we've been getting spotty sun lately, and that's not a good thing. So one way to improve the spotty sun issue is to get the crud off of them. Basically, the duster thing we had was a gigantic mop thing that was designed for the high-end RVs where you don't want to scratch the finish at all. And it was really good for just getting in there and taking all the dirt off. See how I'll come back later and I'll see. This will definitely make an improvement, but I'm not sure it'll do as much as I'd like it to do. I don't have easy access to a hose here. Yeah, I can see that it's improving it. Still not as clean as I'd like it to be, though. Grr. Good. That's good.
All right, I'll go look and see how we're doing the utility building.
Cool. And sometimes it's pretty scary how much you lose.
Yeah, just a small, normal settling of dust will be about 15%.
Yeah. And 15% when you've got some clouds coming in or something like that can be all it takes to have to run the generator.
Yep.
Especially over the course of an entire day. Okay. Whew. And while we're cleaning things, I try and get this scrubbed out a couple times a year when it's dry. This is an interesting thing. We've had it for years, and when we first got it, the only kind of algae we used to get in here was green algae. And then we had a big dust storm. Gosh, it's probably 10 or 12 years ago now. And ever since then, we've had red algae. And it was funny because I was talking to a neighbor about it. And he's like, You're right, we never used to have red algae. We always used to have just green. And yeah, you know, you'll hear about dust from the Sahara causing great sunsets someplace like in Florida or someplace like that, or Texas. Yeah. These dust storms carry algae and other stuff from all over the world. And yeah, I'm not trying to get this like drinking water clean. All I try and do is get some of the general crud out of here. And if it gets too goopy in here, it'll tend to clog up my watering can. So I try and keep all the leaves out. And when mice drown themselves, I fish those out. Stuff like that. So, okay, a little bit more. Lots of mud. Bloop. Let's see. That. Let's get the garlic bed watered again. I need to try and harvest this garlic in here, but I need to make sure the soil doesn't get so hard that I can't harvest it. Green plants here are Jerusalem artichoke, which is a root crop, and we haven't eaten much of it the last couple of years, so we're going to make a real effort on it this year, and if we decide that it's just not something we love, we're going to get rid of it. Well, I hope you guys found this interesting. This is just one of those crazy things you have to do. There's a lot of odd bits and pieces around here that if you're going to do solar, you need to keep your panels clean. You need to think about how, if you're in an area that ever gets snow, and I say ever, like ever, how you would clean them off if you had to. Can you live without them if you can't clean them off because you've got a foot of snow? We get out here and clean them first thing in the morning when we've had snow, because the hardest thing is when you get a layer of ice underneath and then the snow sticks to it. And that can take hours to get off in terms of you scrape it and then you let it set and melt in the sun a little bit and then you scrape it some more. So you need to think those things out. We're certainly not the only ones who've ever screwed up a little bit on it. We didn't mount this quite high enough so that when we do get a lot of snow, I actually have to dig this back in the front. And Henry and I will take turns digging back in front of the solar panels, because otherwise you'll wind up with 3 feet of snow sometimes in front of the panel. We have friends in the Eastern Sierras who were remounting their solar panels because they also did not think about the fact that they have this wonderful solar bank, because they're 100% off grid in the middle of absolutely nowhere. And they they had to remount theirs because they get feet of snow all winter there usually. And it becomes a problem in terms of where do you stick the snow, and it's in the way of your panel. So be sure to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, because we'll be doing tons more. This is just one of the little things we do on the homestead to keep things running properly. The batteries for the main system now no longer require water because they're a, I guess, lithium battery. But the batteries in here still need to be topped off with distilled water periodically. So that's another thing on the list. And you need to understand your systems and know what has to be done to it, and how to read your information and how to know what's going on, so that you can hopefully stop a disaster before it happens if there's one in the process. So until next time, bye. Oh, I know, I have a very annoyed Jay here. Very, very annoyed. So that you could hopefully stop a disaster before it happens if there's one in the process. So until next time, bye.